Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we will unlock the book Smart Choices, a practical guide to making better decisions. In the late 1980s, IBM, a global giant in the IT industry, faced a life and death problem. An internal turf war and the loss of customers externally caused financial difficulties. It was not until IBM turned to Louis V. Gerstner for help that the company successfully resurrected its fortunes. We also analyze this situation in detail in the Bookie of Who Says Elephant Can't Dance inside IBM's historic turnaround. When Gerstner entered IBM, he started by addressing elitism. He took many targeted actions, but there were two main ones. First, disbanding the management board, the top decision-making department, and replacing it with a process of employee consultation. Second, allocating bonuses based on the company's overall operation rather than based on individual performance. These strategies suppressed an egocentric culture that had flourished in certain regional branches. However, elitism was prevalent in the US at that time. So, why did Gerstner go against the trend and decide to fight elitism? He is certain to have tried a series of problem-solving approaches to reach these final decisions. He also had a unique decision-making system. By the time Gerstner stepped down as IBM's CEO in March 2002, its stock price had increased 800%, regaining the company's prestige. Gerstner's decision-making proved to be definitively successful. Most people will agree that we need better decision-making methods in the workplace. But in life, it is also advantageous to adopt strategies to help us make decisions. Suppose you are approaching your 30s, should you follow the custom and get married? After you are married, should you have children immediately? You need effective methods to make these important decisions. Decision-making methods, as advanced as they may sound, are ubiquitous. People make decisions every day. What kind of job to do, whether to start your own business, whether you will be happy, depends on the decisions you make. Given this, a dependable method will help us in decision-making, and you may find it in today's book. To write Smart Choices, a practical guide to making better decisions, the authors analyzed research results over half a century. They also tabulated the experience of thousands of decisions they had personally made in over 40 years. Let's first introduce the three authors of this book. John S. Hammond is a professor at Harvard Business School and MIT Sloan School of Management. He has 40 years' experience and has been a consultant for organizations such as Bank of America and the World Bank. Ralph L. Keeney is a member of the United States National Academy of Engineering and a former professor at MIT. Howard Raiffa is a Harvard Business School professor and a pioneer in decision analysis, negotiation analysis, and game theory. This Bookie consists of 3 parts elaborating the methods of making smart choices. Part 1, How to formulate multiple alternatives. Part 2, How to choose among alternatives. Part 3, How to minimize the impact of uncertainties. To make a smart choice, you should first have several alternatives to choose from. To begin with, let's look at how to create functional alternatives. First, you should define the decision problem properly to determine the framework for decision making. This means you must know what problem it is you're trying to solve. If you get it wrong, you will go in the wrong direction. If this is the case, even if you come up with a plethora of alternatives, it's useless in practice. Here's an example. You're planning to move to a new city, and you need to find an unfurnished apartment to rent. So, your decision problem seems straightforward: which apartment should I choose? But is it really that simple? Maybe it would be better to rent a house if the whole family is moving with you. Or maybe you shouldn't move to the new city at all because it will not improve your job prospects. The decision you make from the perspective of whether to move or not will be different from the decision you make from the perspective of which apartment to choose. Therefore, it is essential to figure out what problem you are trying to solve. So, how do you define the decision problem properly? First, you can start by writing down the problem you intend to solve, and then question, test, and refine it. Subsequently, ask yourself what triggered this problem and why am I considering it? Thirdly, you should continuously re-question